The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade, and the epicenter of Asia's most heated maritime disputes. Overlapping claims form a tangled web, with national pride and economic survival at stake. In September 2025, the Philippines released a new map, formalizing its claims and directly challenging China. This bold move follows years of standoffs and protests over China's actions in Philippine waters. The map is more than paper. It's a symbol of resistance and a catalyst for the next chapter in this high-stakes dispute. The line has been drawn. The world is watching what comes next. The standard map of the Philippines, unveiled by NAMRIA in September 2025, is the product of years of technical and legal work. Its main purpose to align official maps with domestic law, and the 2016 arbitral victory at The Hague, which invalidated China's 9-line and affirmed Philippine rights within its EEZ. The government framed the map as a national duty, clarifying territory for Filipinos and the world. Key maritime features are now labeled with their Filipino names: the West Philippine Sea, Panatag Shoal, and the Calayan Island Group. This isn't just renaming, it's a sovereign assertion, reinforcing historical and legal ties. The map standardizes the Philippine view for all agencies, ensuring consistency in documents, textbooks, and international forums. The release was carefully orchestrated, with press briefings and official statements emphasizing that this is an act of clarification, not aggression. The Philippines stressed that the map strictly follows UNCLOS, the global treaty defining maritime rights. By grounding its map in international law, Manila positions itself as a defender of the rules-based order. The message: the Philippines is asserting its rights, not seeking conflict. The new map is both a legal tool and a statement of national resolve. The 2025 map's biggest change is its legal precision, drawing a clear, continuous line marking the full extent of the Philippine EEZ from its archipelagic baselines. This leaves no doubt about where Manila claims sovereign rights over fishing and resources. The West Philippine Sea is now precisely charted as part of the nation's maritime domain, including resource-rich Reed Bank, a flashpoint for Chinese challenges. The map asserts exclusive rights to explore and exploit these resources. The Calayan Island Group's territorial sea and EEZ are clearly delineated, directly countering China's sweeping claims over the Spratlys. Panatag Shoal, long controlled by China, is explicitly shown within the Philippine EEZ, a visual reclamation of national patrimony. These changes reinforce a legal narrative, graphically representing the 2016 arbitral ruling that dismissed many Chinese claims. The map omits any recognition of maritime zones from Chinese-occupied features deemed legally insignificant. It's not just about lines, it's about asserting a legal reality. The new map is a diplomatic tool, providing a clear basis for future negotiations and protests. Manila's position is now unambiguous, both at home and abroad. The map is a statement: the Philippines will defend its rights backed by international law. Overlaying the new Philippine map with China's 9-line reveals the heart of the conflict: vast overlapping claims. China's U-shaped line, claiming nearly 90% of the South China Sea, clashes directly with the Philippine EEZ and those of Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. The new Philippine map doesn't create new overlaps, it formalizes existing ones, grounding them in UNCLOS. This transforms a de facto dispute into a de jure legal statement, forcing others to confront Manila's legal basis. The stakes are high. The South China Sea may hold up to 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, much of it in contested zones. For the Philippines, securing access to these resources is economic security. China's claims and military presence block Manila from exercising its rights. Beijing has built artificial islands with runways and missile systems, projecting power deep into Southeast Asia. The new map asserts sovereignty over these areas, challenging the legitimacy of China's militarized outposts. The dispute is about more than lines. It's about resources, security, and the balance of power. The map is Manila's answer to Beijing's presence, a legal claim against military might. The contest is now as much about law as it is about force. China's response to the new map was swift and predictable. Official condemnation, calling it illegal and a serious infringement on Chinese sovereignty. Beijing increased Coast Guard patrols around disputed areas and launched a media campaign denouncing Manila's move as provocation and U.S. interference. China refuses to recognize the 2016 arbitral ruling, dismissing it as waste paper, and insists its historic rights predate UNCLOS. Beijing prefers bilateral talks, where its power dominates, and works to prevent ASEAN unity on the issue. China's diplomatic outreach frames the Philippines' action as destabilizing, aiming to isolate Manila. The impasse is rooted in a fundamental disagreement over the validity of international law versus historical claims. The Philippines stands firm, but China's playbook remains unchanged: protest, pressure, and divide. The standoff is now sharper than ever, with both sides digging in. The Philippines' new map has sent ripples across Southeast Asia, prompting varied responses. Vietnam reaffirmed its own claims but welcomed peaceful, law-based dispute resolution, signaling support for Manila's legal approach without endorsing its specific lines. Malaysia and Brunei stayed quiet, balancing their maritime rights with economic ties to China. Indonesia, facing its own EEZ overlaps with China, privately supports Manila's UNCLOS-based stance, seeing it as a boost to the rules-based order. Beyond the region, the US and allies like Australia, Japan, and the UK backed the Philippines, urging China to respect international law and cease harassment. The new map has become a focal point in the broader US-China strategic rivalry. Southeast Asian nations tread carefully, wary of antagonizing Beijing, but watching Manila's assertiveness closely. The dispute is now a regional and global flashpoint. The Philippines' legal stand has drawn support but also highlighted the region's divisions. The map's impact is felt far beyond Manila and Beijing. At the core of the dispute is UNCLOS, the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, ratified by both the Philippines and China. UNCLOS establishes the 200 nautical mile EEZ, granting coastal states rights to resources within that zone. The new Philippine map is a direct application of this principle, delineating its EEZ from its archipelagic baselines. The 2016 Arbitral Tribunal under UNCLOS ruled there was no legal basis for China's historic rights within the 9-dash line. China rejects this, claiming its rights predate UNCLOS and that the tribunal lacked jurisdiction. The legal crux: does UNCLOS override vague historical claims? If China's view prevails, it could undermine the global maritime order, encouraging similar claims elsewhere. If the Philippine position gains traction, it reinforces UNCLOS as the sole legal basis for maritime rights. The dispute is a test case for the durability of international law at sea. The outcome will shape not just the South China Sea, but the future of maritime governance worldwide. The world is watching to see which principle will prevail. Philippine officials call the new map an affirmation of sovereignty, law not ambition, guiding their claim. Many Filipinos see it as overdue, protecting livelihoods and national dignity. From Beijing, the response is firm opposition. China sees the map as institutionalizing an illegal arbitral award, insisting its rights are rooted in history, not law. Chinese officials frame the dispute as bilateral, not for international courts. Legal experts note the map's dual role, educating Filipinos and providing a consistent diplomatic tool. It forces the world to engage with Manila's claim as defined by law, not just geography. Analysts argue China's strategy is to create new realities on the water, making legal arguments irrelevant over time. The Philippines counters with lawfare and transparency, raising reputational costs for Beijing. The contest is between China's gray zone tactics and Manila's legal campaign. The map is more than a document, it's a strategic weapon in a battle of narratives. The future of the South China Sea may hinge on which approach proves more enduring. The Philippines' new map is a deliberate escalation, an assertion of rights under UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award, not a new claim. By precisely delineating its EEZ and using Filipino names, Manila directly challenges China's 9-dash line. China rejects the map, neighbors respond cautiously, and Western allies back Manila's legal stand. The map has sharpened the legal and diplomatic battle lines, focusing global attention on the clash between rules-based order and power politics. Regional tensions are up, with risks of miscalculation at sea. The dispute tests the authority of UNCLOS and the concept of a law-governed sea. The world is watching. Can legal principles withstand national ambition? The lines are drawn, but resolution remains distant. The future of sovereignty in the South China Sea, law or force, remains an open question.